Hey folks, my name's Rene Enriquez and you are watching Uncensored.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Blackhand of the Mexican Mafia. Prison gang politics.
Well, we're going to wrap up Lalo Week today. And as promised, I'm going to give you a bit of a profile on Eulalio Lalo Martinez from Lomas, the Mexican Mafia member who controlled the county jail with an iron fist for a time because he did lose control at one point. But Lalo Martinez was transferred down from Pelican Bay State Prison just about before he paroled. He was due to parole, and Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, coupled with the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office, filed a murder charge on Lalo of Donald Schubert. Donald Schubert was suspected to be the individual responsible for the death of Lalo Martinez's brother, years and years before. But here's the kicker, right? Mexican Mafia member by the name of Jaco Padilla, Jaco from Azusa, was on the tier with Lalo in the county jail way back when, way back in the day. And Lalo was there with him, and the individual responsible for the elimination of Lalo's brother was there at the time. And Lalo was not a Mexican Mafia member, nor was Jaco Padilla, but he remembers the incident because he knew Lalo from way back in the day. And he said that Lalo took no action, none whatsoever. Years later, when Lalo becomes a Mexican Mafia member, he confides in Angel Valencia, a Mexican Mafia member who was a cellie, that he had this individual whacked for participating in the elimination of his brother. So he goes about this. It gets done. Donald Schubert is eliminated. And years later, Lalo Martinez is sent to the county jail, and he's pending trial there. While he's there, Moscatores leaves the county jail and hands over the reins and control of the county jail to Lalo Martinez. Lalo Martinez inherits an empire, an entire empire, very lucrative piece of territory for the organization. And he runs it efficiently. One thing, Lalo's a heroin addict. He loves heroin. You could hear it in his voice from all the calls I've run. He professes to be sober and clean, but Lalo's never been sober and clean the whole time I've known him. He's a hope to die doping. In fact, in July 2013, Lalo Martinez overdoses and dies in the Los Angeles County Jail as a result of a heroin overdose. And here's part of the kicker is, right, that he was so disliked by some of the camaradas because he had such a bad attitude and mistreated some of them that they did not immediately call for a man down when he overdosed. In fact, one version of this incident is that one of the camaradas went and fished out his tennis shoes from his cell and kept them. Only after a period of time passed did they call man down, and by that time he was non-responsive and it had already passed. But Lalo became embroiled in a lot of politics, one being in a war with Daryl Baca, right? It was quite a lengthy war, actually. Daryl Baca had an individual by the name of Shy Boy Perez and a couple of other people that worked for him and attempted to take control, actually took control of the county jail away from Lalo Martinez. Because Daryl Baca's guys were in the county jail, Daryl felt that he could have a piece of this, right? So he actually went about ordering the eliminations of Lalo's crew, and they were being assaulted. Lalo retaliated. In fact, he had the nephew of Daryl Baca's assaulted there. He denied it in a later kite to Daryl Baca, saying it wasn't him. He tried to blame Perico Rocha and Cisco Gonzalez for it, but the fact remains that Lalo Martinez ordered the assault of Daryl Baca's nephew. And he had this very large conflict with Daryl Baca. They were each having each other's crew members assaulted. So Lalo was going to face some serious consequences when he went back to the Bay. He was going to go back to the Bay. because it wasn't the murder that was going to get him. It was the consequences after the participation in crime later that, while in the county jail, that doomed him. In fact, he went to trial on the murder, and Angel Valencia testified. And he was such a bad witness that Lalo Martinez got a hung jury. From my understanding, Angel Valencia was a terrible witness. Didn't translate well, couldn't relate well to the jury. If anybody knows him that's listening, you knew Angel Valencia was an angry man, and that emanated from his very poor. Every pore. He just emanated being angry and bitter and dissatisfied. That's the kind of the guy he was. And that doesn't translate well to a jury. The jury reads your body language, they read your testimony, they question your motives, the whole 9 yards, right? And Angel has never been an individual who articulated well. So he was the primary witness in that case and blew the case for the DA's office. In the interim, Lalo began his participation in Operation Kitty Scam, where they taxed the commissary of inmates in the Los Angeles County jail system, sold those commissary items to other individuals, and had monies deposited in accounts in the county jail and elsewhere, right? In about a year, Lalo accumulated about $290,000 just from Kitty Scam. That's just from scamming the commissary items that are purchased every week in the Los Angeles County jail system. That doesn't account for trafficking narcotics, trafficking heroin, marijuana, and extortion of hot monies, because he was making a lot of money, right? And that's what him and Daryl were fighting over. So Daryl had an individual by the name of Raymond Cuevas take over for him and attempting to take control of the county jail. Raymond Cuevas was hit. Shy Boy Perez was targeted. And during all this whole process, Lalo was placed on the yard, on the roof, and I played that recording for you. Lalo would not talk on the phones. He was very circumspect in the beginning. But he went to the roof and was captured discussing Mexican Mafia information. And I know it was a difficult call to hear, but I had to wear headphones to decipher that. And I had to stay up all night doing it because they were having a court proceeding the next day. And that was introduced as evidence because Lalo is talking about the casa, and I think it was 5 pedazos of carga, 5 ounces of heroin that had come up missing, right? And Lalo voiced leadership in that conversation, right? His leadership of the county jail. Later, Lalo makes phone calls from a court tank, and he participates in further incriminating conversations with individuals. Number one, Joseph Ledesma. He has a call with him, and then he has a call with this homeboy named Pepe. These are incriminating pieces of information that are going to be used as evidence for him in the future. So his real worry is not the murder charge. It's the conspiracies and Penal Code Section 186.22. That's the STEP Act, right? Before it was revised. That's the enhancement. That's the life term. Lalo was going to get another life sentence. No matter what he did, even if he lost that murder, I mean, if he won that murder, he was going to get another life sentence on these cases. And that's what he was facing, right? In fact, he was in so deep that, they started placing informants around him. One was Jose Cuevas. And I'll read you one of the transcripts from that conversation. So Lalo is placed in a court tank. This is the old court tank trick, right? They take Lalo to court, and in his court tank, they place an individual who participates in Perkins operations. And Perkins operations are when you're wearing a body wire. This individual, Jose Paredes, was one of the 2 individuals caught in that quagmire of Orange County informant scandal in the Decry case, right? It was later determined that Paredes and his counterpart were paid over $330,000 in 1 year for wearing body wires and going and eliciting confessions from inmates when placed next to them, right? In this instance, Lalo was placed in a court tank with Paredes. And I'm going to read the legend, right? P for Paredes and M for Lalo Martinez. So, Jose Paredes is inaudible. Lalo Martinez, a lot of camaradas inaudible, puro pinche huilas, fucking puro pinche huilas. What the fuck is all this? Paredes, inaudible, told me that they're, and now that they're trying to inaudible because of what they were saying about Night Owl, because I was over there pushing it behind that, for inaudible, Martinez, that fucking chapeta, little short, shy boy, Paredes, shy boy, Martinez, porque lo pegaron una vez, because they hit him one time, pero no muy de aquellas, but they didn't do it really good. Lo pegaron una vez. He left. He tried to play. He tried to say. I was talking to him in the hole. He tried to get at me according to what I heard inaudible. Ain't nothing changed inaudible. And then after I left, he tried to tell inaudible, I'm his real nephew. I'm Night Owl's real. I don't give a fuck. I gave you his real nephew. I don't give a fuck if you're his real nephew. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. Fuck you. Paredes, exactly. I don't care because even Night Owl's nephews, his real nephews, they got whacked. If you're going to go against the clica or against another carnal, sabes que? I don't care who you're related to. Paredes, because he tried to get inaudible. When I ended up in 826, I was right there, and that's when Bobby was there and everybody, And then he went to OSJ and got everybody rolled up. So when he left, they were like everything. Who, Shy Boy? Yeah. He was working with OSJ, Martinez says. Yeah, Paredes says. He got the movement there, right? He was over there. He was trying to get me to take over on that side for him, for Night Owl. Fuck that. How are you going to go against the grain? I go, who's been here the longest, Lalo. Martinez responds, he wrote to me. He goes, hey, Lalo, I would do the same for you. I would do the same for you, but I was just following orders. He was trying sound real nice to me because I want him to respect my county. I told him on the tier, I don't want to write to him or nothing because Paredes, yeah. Martinez, the reason somebody's in a condado, a carnal is in a condado, whatever, everybody knows whose condado it is. I'm not saying because I tell camaradas, even with this trip, with Perico and Cisco came down, a lot of camaradas started fucking hanging it up inaudible. You're not loyal to one carnal. This is still Lalo continuously speaking. You're not loyal to one clica. You're not loyal to one carnal. You're loyal to the clica. But the carnal here, this is him. If a carnal is away from it, he's way over there. If I wasn't here and no one was here, I could see them seeking guidance from somebody else. But when there's a carnal here, hey, you better go with this carnal and address the issues, address the problems, whatever the fuck is going on, inaudible. Disrespect this carnal, I'm not going to ask your loyalty. I could give a fuck if you're loyal to the clique, not him. When Cisco and Perico came in and did all this fucking and gave them a grace, I gave camaradas a grace period. I told them, ¿sabes qué? Because a lot of them fell for it. Yeah, Berta says. Martinez says, but after a while, it got old. But now they're starting to come back and apologizing. But I gave them that tiempo. Look, I'm not asking for you vatos nalgas. You're here for the clica. You're not here for one man. Paredes responds, yes. Martinez responds, probably involved with the wrong carnal. Step to the side. You get in a mess, don't come seeking help. Deal with it on your own. You know what I mean? Paredes, that's why when he got to the dorm, he goes, Lalo's on disregard. It's coming from the bay. Like that, I told him why even say that, homie. He is who he is, and it doesn't make him. I go, just say for instance, if it was true. They're saying that he's through. He is who he is. I go, you're not saying that, didn't mean to say that. From what I know, he says no. Chuckling. Martinez is chuckling. He wasn't acting like that in 300, Paredes, because he ended up being 9/11. They snatched me up because Azteca wrote Huilas, you know. Azteca told me because I would see Cyclone, Player, and Inaudible, you know, instructions where to get these fools, you know. That this is what they were told me. That you wanted Shy Boy first before anyone, then the rest would fall. So he never did nothing. The back of our mind instructions, you know. Martinez, that boy wouldn't. He wouldn't go out, huh? He would. Paredes says he would never come out, you know. Whenever we get the chance, today's program, we were running over there, you know, Cyclone, Player, and all those fools, you know, and he knew. He came, he goes, he come here. Martinez responds, who, Psycho from Lennox? Huh? Martinez asks again, Psycho from Lennox, he's down? Paredes, I know, because, see, Psycho, Bobby got Psycho, he told him, hey. Martinez, Player, no. I también? Paredes, see, Bobby told Cyclone that it's coming from Lalo and they want Shy Boy gone. This goes on and on and on. This is an in-depth conversation that he is having with an informant, an individual who's wearing a body wire in a court tank. So Lalo's problems became exponentially more difficult. They became like insurmountable. It got so bad for Lalo that I actually made a videotape for him, like I did to other Mexican Mafia members who were in trouble, because Lalo was going to face the music when he went to the Bay. He was placed on disregard by the Bay for some time. Daryl Bach was at war with him, and I know Daryl Baca. Daryl Baca would have did harm to him. The individual who was assaulted was not his nephew. I know Daryl Baca's nephews. That was not his nephew. But Daryl Baca took it as an affront because he assaulted a member. Lalo had a member of his crew assaulted. So I want you to check out the video that I made for him. And he was approached by Francis Hardiman, another detective. They took him to court. He sat down and watched the video in its entirety on a day he wasn't supposed to go to court. And this is what I said to him. Hey Lalo, how you doing? It's Rene. Last time I seen you was probably in about 2000 during the peace talks, and you probably weren't expecting to see me today, but I'm just reaching out to give you a little advice. I know for me to you, I mean, being on opposite sides of the fence, that might be offensive. Even the situation this is happening, the manner in which it's occurring may be offensive to you. But I want to tell you that the guys that are showing this to you are pretty good men. You know, I've worked with them for a long time. Obviously, you know that I provide testimony and I work with these guys. Just wanted to give you a heads up. You know, you might be thinking you're going to beat this case, and I'm here to tell you you're not. You know, and if you do beat this case, you're not going to beat the next one. There are a lot of people interested in you. Obviously, you're aware of that. You know, I'm limited in what I can tell you, and not that I would tell you at all, but you know, the world's going to fall on you. You're never going to set foot out of the jail again, and you have a decision to make right now. You know, for me to you, I'm going to tell you that leaving the clique was the best thing I ever did in my life. You know, I don't have a worry in the world. I'm happy. I sleep good at night. I don't feel bad about what I do. You know, the reality is that every intelligent man weighs all his options. And I know you're an intelligent man. I listen to your calls. I'm aware of what you do. They're aware of what you do. And you're aware of what you do. And you know that the hammer is waiting to swing on you. You know, this sells itself, Lalo. You're in a position now to help yourself. The reality is you can either change your life or continue living what you're living. Life in the clique isn't everything it's meant to be. You know, it's not all it's cracked up to be. We all thought it was silk suits and limousines. And the reality is it's deceit, deception, and murder. And you're doing fine now. I know you're running a pretty good crew. You're running the county jails and making some good dough. But that's not everything. You know, these people can help you change your life. The reality is your whole life will change. You know, if you ever want to have any semblance of normalcy with Gina, yeah, I heard you got married, and congratulations to you. But if you ever want to have any semblance of normalcy, any hope of her getting out, you have a decision to make. I mean, you can go back and curse me, talk bad about me in your cell, talk bad about me on the tier. That doesn't even affect me anymore. You know, the opinions of other people, they don't even affect me. You know, that doesn't even faze me anymore. The reality is, I'm trying to do you right here. You know, other people have taken the advice that I've given them, and you know them already. You know, I've done a couple of these tapes for other people and told them the realities of the position they're in. And you're not in a good position now. You may think you're on top of the world, but you're not. I've seen some of the evidence they're going to use against you. And just FYI, I'll be there. I'll be there, and a couple other people will be there, and you're done, my friend. You're done. And if by chance, you know, if the gods of jurisprudence swing in your favor, you won't get out. There's another case coming. So be an intelligent man, you know. Weigh your options. Consider what's available to you. I know it's repugnant right now. I went through that phase where it's repugnant, you know, being a PC or a rat. But the reality is, you could stay who you are for a couple of years. Work with these guys. You'd be amazed at the change in your life. You know, I hope you make a good decision for yourself. If not, I wish you well. I mean you no ill will. I have no animosity towards you. Not even over the mohit. You know, we talked about that the last time we had meeting face to face. You know, I'm not angry over any of that. That was just business. It's just what we did, and I understand the position you were in for doing that. But understand that I have no ill intent towards you. You know, I hope that you live a good life, that you go on and have kids, and have some normalcy with your wife. You know, I wish that for you. You know, and I'm not here trying to do you wrong. What's happening to you is your own doing. You know, and I'm not throwing rocks at you. I'm just advising you that you have an opportunity to help yourself now. It's probably the best opportunity you're going to have. If you wait and take this to trial, they're going to go with it. No deal's going to come forth. And then the other indictment's going to come down. Like I said, very serious people are all over you. And let's just hope you make the right decision, people. I wish you well. Take care. So Lalo had options, right? He was facing serious problems politically and legally. You know, he had a chance to make himself a deal. And during that meeting, Lalo attempted to negotiate. They wanted to give him a specific amount of time that they threw on the table, and he refused that amount of time. He refused that amount of time. I think it was 20 that they offered him. No life sentence for the murder. He was going to take a flat 20. But Lalo wanted out. He really wanted out of prison. So he thought he was in a bargaining position. He refused that deal that day, but came back. He came back, and he wanted to take the deal. He wanted to take the deal. Lalo was going to cooperate. Lalo was meeting with law enforcement. Lalo was ready to roll. And a lot of you may say, no, this is just you saying that. This is just conjecture. This is just you spitting on his boots. And that's not the case at all. I would never do that to anybody if it wasn't true. I'm not trying to soil the man's reputation. This is what it is. Lalo was flipping. He was meeting with law enforcement. He was watching my videos. He was actually trying to negotiate a deal to flip, and he was going to flip. But by the time he came in, it was too late. They had so much against him, they didn't even need to make a deal with him. They didn't need anything from law. In fact, they refused him. In fact, listen to the segment that we withheld during the Sky Virgin arrest interrogation. I want you to listen to these two segments where they talk about Lalo. Law enforcement talks about Lalo not even being accepted for a deal. He waited too long. Here you go.
Don't help us, help us. And those two choices, there are consequences. There's all kinds of stuff. And like he said, oftentimes what happens to people when I talk to people like you, I've had a ton of people help me. So has he. Okay? And a lot of times what happens is they decide to help us 2 years from now.
Like Lalo Martinez. Too late.
Yeah, too late. Yeah. He never tried to come and help me, but...
Who?
I'm sorry?
Who did you say?
Lalo.
He did what?
He tried to help us.
Oh.
But it was too little too late. We couldn't help him out. It was too late. He tried to come over at the wrong time. It was terrible. He's a very nice guy. He had a lot to offer.
And stuff like that happens where it's simply too late. I've talked to people like this where I've said, hey, no hard feelings. Remember when I first talked to you, we said we're not mad at you or anything like that? We're not. And it's not my job to get mad at people. People that go around doing that are angry all the time, nothing bad, nothing good comes from that. Okay? But 2 years from now, you might call us and tell your lawyer, hey, I want to talk to Hardiman. Hey, Cecilia, how's it going? Hey, I'm going to tell you everything. Here's what I got. And we'll just say, hey, we appreciate it, Cecilia, and we're glad that you've kind of finally seen that and stuff like that, but nothing you can tell us now is going to help us. Everything you got is 2 years old. Doesn't do me any good. Information's like a banana. If a banana sits on your counter for a week, what happens to it? It gets all black and mushy and yucky. Mm-hmm. It's no good anymore.
I would think.
So it's better for me to become a snitch.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's better for you to be truthful and stuff.
Become a snitch, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We could protect you. We could move you. We could change your name. We could send you and Kristen somewhere else. But hey, I get it. If you want to be a pro and you're not bad, you're playing AAA baseball. You're a pretty good player.
No.
But if you want to be what you are, then you should be proud of it and stand up for it and make like a pro. It's nothing to be ashamed of. We deal with pros all the time. Yes,
we do.
Yeah, even Lalo, even the Babe Ruth of of the Mafia. Once in a while, Babe Ruth had to step down and drop out from the Yankees and stuff. So Lalo Martinez is no different. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. But hey, if you don't want to do it, we're totally cool with that too. It is absolutely nothing personal. So we get it.
With that said, Lalo Martinez came to the county jail and destroyed his life, literally and figuratively. He caught so many cases that Lalo was never going to see daylight again. He never was going to see daylight. Had he accepted the deal that was put on the table when the video was shown to him, when he was approached, Lalo would have been out of prison by now. He would have been free man. He wouldn't have been a carnal no more. And he would have been free. He would have been able to live his life. And he was a relatively young, healthy man. Lalo was in good shape. But unfortunately, Lalo kept on using heroin. In July 2013, while doing a presentation to the district attorney's office about Lalo and the entire case, I did a presentation with Stephen Gunson at the administrative building in downtown Los Angeles. We did this presentation that revolved all around Kitty Scam, all around his indictments, all around his activity. And we're driving back to my facility, and we get a text message from the district attorney's office that Lalo was found unresponsive on his floor in the cell. He had overdosed and he expired right there in the cell. It just ended really bad for Lalo. He was in a good position while in the county jail. He was okay there. He controlled it with an iron fist. But when he left that county jail, he was going to get nailed. He was going to get nailed by the brothers in the Bay, and he was going to end up with multiple life sentences, which is unfortunate. It's an unfortunate end for anybody's story. I knew Lalo really well. He wasn't a killer. He played the role really well. He may have done a hit here and there, but as a carnal, he wasn't that, because he stabbed Mo Ruiz in the cell. Mo was put on the hit list for some reason. We don't even know why to this date, because we believe there was a deep facility war. Angel Valencia and Cuate Grajeda told Lalo to stab Mo Ruiz, and he did so. He stabbed him in the chest one time and knocked him out. He had Mo on the ground, unresponsive. He could have strangled him. He could have continued stabbing him, but he didn't. He let Mo go. It told me he didn't have the killer instinct. He only stabbed him one time and socked him one time. And then, he let Mo go. Mo left the house and locked up, sought protective custody, and he was moved. And, I don't know that he sought protective custody. He sought medical attention. Mo was then transferred to our building. We had him moved to our building. And Jocko and I spoke on his behalf and tried to get him a pass, but we couldn't get Mo a pass. He would never get a pass for what he did. He went to the cops and he asked for help, and that was considered cowardice. But Lalo was washed up, and he had a chance. He had a chance, just like Danny Roman did, just like a couple others did, and they refused it, and this was the ultimate result. Everybody likes to think of these guys as pillars of strength, of iron, And granted, right, they're strongest men in the world, but they're human beings. They have flaws. Lalo was a heroin addict. Lalo was greedy. Obviously, you hear on every call, "Where's my money? Give me more money. I want money." That's all he calls for. Not, "Hey, how you doing, brother? I love you very much, and I miss you, and I hope to see you one day. God bless you." None of that, right? None of that. And I'm not critiquing him. I'm really not, because that used to be me too. I was the same sleazy, lowball heroin addict that I was, right? Uh, and I just wish he could have made the decision that would have uh, saved his life, number one, because he would have been removed from that element. He wouldn't have had access to heroin. He wouldn't have overdosed, and he would have been out of prison. I would have wished that for him and anybody. With that said, folks, that wraps up our profile on Lalo Martinez. Okay, folks, hope you enjoyed this week on Lalo Martinez. It's been kind of fun doing it. Sadly, it ended up this way for him, but I enjoyed breaking it all down for you and ultimately telling you that Lalo was flipping. Lalo was meeting with the cops. Lalo had negotiated a deal. He didn't like it, so he refused it. So he was there. I mean, he was one step away. And then when he finally made the decision to go, like, "I'm going to pull the trigger, I'm going to drop out," they refused him, which is a crying shame, really. Okay, folks, that does it for Lalo Martinez week, right? As always, stay safe. Have a nice day. Enjoy your weekend. Peace out.
This is Rene Enriquez. Nickname Boots.